Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice always to chat. I thought today we could have a chat about a question that often comes up on Facebook and in emails about what is the best curriculum for homeschoolers. I thought you could jump in there and then I'll chip in as we go.
Yeah, I always like to compare that to a curriculum to buying a car. If you were to ask yourself or anybody you know, what's the best car, you know that everybody's going to have a different answer. Some people are going to say the best car is the luxury model that has all the features. And somebody else is going to say the best car is the tiny one that's the most economical and fits in parking ways easily. And for somebody like me, I'm going to say it's the big van that can accommodate a large family and be comfortable when you go on trips. So everybody's got different needs, and their budget and the size of their family and their purpose is what's important for them. So the short answer is that there's no best curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely. No one size fits all. Although, having said that, we've all tried a box, of books that come to the door and we say, oh, wow, this is it. And then as we carry on, we find that maybe that doesn't work so well, or we got to tweak that here or toss that there. And I think we need to be gentle on ourselves as homeschooling moms, because we start off in one way and it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way we're going to end. So if we start off with a box curriculum because that's the only way that we can possibly do this big homeschooling thing, understand that that might not be where you're going to be in 10 years' time. But it's okay to start there. And understand that things are going to shift and change as you get to be more confident as a homeschool mom, as you begin to understand your children's particular needs. I think back to when we realized that one of our child was dyslexic, and the Sunlight reading program that we had was just not working, and we had to go and research and look and find another program that would equip him correctly and get his reading up to an acceptable standard. So you also have that kind of thing that comes in there, your curveballs as you go. But absolutely, I was thinking of a friend of mine. She's got 8 kids, and a lot of them are still at home. And I've got one child at home. Sorry about the dog, needs to be with the mother. But I've now got one child at home, and we've actually just got rid of our big car, and we're down to a tiny little Ford Fiesta, and we used to have this like huge combi, and I couldn't say to her, well, Ford Fiesta is right for you when she's got 8 kids driving around with her. So I love that analogy of yours.
The other thing that I find is that especially new homeschoolers are quite intimidated by making this decision, because they think that what they choose is what they're going to stick with for the next 10 or 12 years of their children's career. And people often mistakenly think that the more money you spend on the curriculum, the better it is. But sometimes that's an expensive mistake, and they spend 15 or 20,000 Rand on a box of, a package that gives you everything for every subject. And 6 months in, the mom's tearing her hair out because the children are bored and they've got attitudes and they're fighting every day, and nobody's actually enjoying homeschooling. So sometimes you need that security of a prescribed package just to get you going. But what I want to say to parents is, don't feel like you've failed. If you've chosen something and it's not working so well, it will still get the job done. But the next opportunity you have to buy something different, do some homework, and then you try something else. Yeah. And the first couple of years are actually this learning curve, this trial and error, as you learn what suits you and your children best. And sometimes you find something that, like you said, works for one child, but it's not always the best for the other. And you've got to learn, the only way you can learn these things is by getting that experience. Sometimes you can also just choose a product just for a particular subject, something for maths or for art. So I tend to not recommend these packages that come with a textbook for every subject. I think it's much more fun, and you can choose better quality products if you choose curriculums that are specifically designed for a specific purpose, and especially if they were created by homeschoolers.
Absolutely. I always say that that is when I recommend programs to parents, I say the first thing that you need to do is you need to look for programs written by homeschoolers for homeschoolers. There is such a creativity or creative bed in the homeschool community. And the other thing is that they understand how homeschooling works. You know, they give you the information that you don't need to always have answer keys, because what you want to do is teach your children to think, not just parrot out information that they've learned. And I've, you know, we both always taken that sort of tailor-made approach to our children's education. It's very easy in the young years because you can see what their interests are, and you can expose them, like Charlotte Mason says, to a large, broad array of information and ideas, and hopefully one of those will grow in them and become their future purpose or job or whatever. And you know, you can, the internet is so full of information that you can have a lap book downloaded within 10 minutes and be doing something on horses, and you know, you've got your book lists that are up there, and every second homeschooler is a homeschool blogger. So you know, there's just so much information, and we've got that amazing thing that's now popping up. I see it every now and again. She's got a WhatsApp group where she puts out themes and ideas to moms, and it's a paid service. And I just think, what creativity within the homeschool community, and why not draw from that? And then at the same time, you're supporting homeschool moms to stay at home with their kids, as versus large curriculum supply companies. And then thinking about tailor making into the high school years. You know, again, round about grade 8, everybody gets this wobbly, oh gosh, it's high school, you know, how am I going to do this? You know, we should be preparing our children to have a highly honed skill in one area and acceptable skills in the other areas. You know, so for a kid who's going to be going into mathematics and sciences, make sure those things are A's, and you know, give them all the information that they need, whether it comes from Cambridge, whether it comes from well, I don't want to say CAPS, but whether it, you know, however it comes to you, use get those resources that will prepare them to have a highly honed skill. And then for the other things, you know, engineers don't really need strong language skills, so that needs to just be brought up to an acceptable level. So that's how we should be structuring our high school years as well. By tailor making and giving our children the freedom to actually be hugely invested in the curriculum. And perhaps you speak about that, because I know that you go through a process with your kids each year with checking in on where they would like to be.
Yes. Well, what I normally do is, at a point when they're quite young, is sit them down, and I want them to buy into their education and come to realize that you're not just doing this because mommy says, or like children in the school, they just have to do what they're told, those subjects, because the school system or the teacher says this is what you have to do. So I want my children to realize that we're doing this for them. They're learning these skills. And so I say to them, what do you think you need to learn in order to function as an adult one day who can take care of yourself? And they generally all realize that they need to develop their math skills, they need to be able to read and write, and they need to be able to work with money, which I suppose is also some maths. And then I say to them, but I'm older and wiser than you, so I also know that you need to learn about the world and people and places and the problems that have existed and how people solve them. And so we're going to do social studies. And because I love literature-based learning, that's what we do. You know, Sunlight's motto is the way you wish you'd been taught. Yeah. And I think many of us moms choose curriculum packages for our children because they appeal to us, because they're so pretty and nice compared to what we were given in school. So we do that. And then I say to them, what else would you be interested in learning about? Here's some science curriculums, because I have quite a few on the shelf already. Or are you interested in a particular topic? Are you interested in art or music or coding or whatever are you interested in? Technology kind of things. And then we find resources to suit their needs. So it's kind of a negotiated arrangement where they've had a say in what they think they need to learn, and I've told them there's some things that they're going to learn. And then I say to them, you know, you said, for example, you need to learn maths. So I'm going to hold you accountable that you do 20 minutes to half an hour a day, and I'll get the curriculum and set it out for you so that you can accomplish that. And so it's a bit of give and take. It's not just mommy always telling you what you have to do. You actually did have a say in what you chose to learn. Something else I wanted to just add to what you were talking about, the high school years. Quite a lot of parents ask, if you're doing your own do-it-yourself eclectic homeschool mix and match style in the early years, how do you prepare your children for a school leaving certificate? And the answer is that many homeschoolers have shown that you can do your own thing up until about grade 10 level, age 15 or 16. And then if you want your children to switch over to a formal school leaving certificate and go and do CAPS or Cambridge or the GED, they actually all generally cope very well, because homeschooling is one-on-one education. It's quality education. They only progress when they've mastered what they're learning. So they've got this wonderful, strong foundation. And then when they switch over to formal learning, they don't struggle. They've already learned to be self-motivated. They've already got self-discipline. They know how to learn. They know that they've got support. And that's why homeschoolers, it's been shown in America where they've done research. Unfortunately, as you know, South Africa hasn't yet. But homeschoolers generally score much higher academically on standardized tests than the general population. So that's, I hope that will allay any concerns from people thinking that they must do CAPS or they must do a prescribed box kind of curriculum.
Yeah.
You can actually pick and mix, and there are some top class, world class home education products that you can mix together, and you can use different ones in different seasons at different ages and stages, and you can really give your children a real quality education.
Absolutely.
The BMW of education.
Yeah.
Done by mom.
Yeah, so just to explain, if there are any new homeschoolers out there, the way that in consultations when I work with parents, I normally say to them, you've got discipline subjects and you've got discretionary subjects. And the discipline subjects are exactly what you said you talk through with your kids, and they actually self-identify that they need to do maths, reading and writing every year. And those discipline subjects, those are the ones that you are at your desk and you are plodding through year by year by year. And obviously they can be creative and as interesting as you want to make them, but that falls into that little circle over there. And then on the other side, you've got your discretionary things. And that's where I put other things that are known as science and history and geography and additional languages and your arts and your crafts and that sort of thing. And from that pool, you can draw as many or as little as you want. You can add in a bit here and a bit there. Some seasons will be more intense in that space and others not so much, just depending on whether you've just had a newborn or whether you've got an oldest writing Cambridge or something like that. So it's nice to split those two into discipline and discretionary. And then the other thing is also to understand that all curriculum comes on a spectrum. So you have your unschoolers on the one side, and then you've got your school at home on the other. Footprints sits kind of in the middle of that. It's a combination of information that children do need to be exposed to understand, to narrate about, to feedback, but at the same time there is a lot of freedom within that. And one of the other things I like saying to parents is that, you know, when you are putting your own eclectic mix together, is make sure that you've got your boundaries set, like you with your kids. We need to do English, your reading, writing and maths. And then within the boundary of that, give them that freedom to choose how and when and what. And I'm talking about older kids, so that they have that maturity and that buy-in, so that by 16, all you need to really do is facilitate the getting of the resources, getting, you know, making sure that they got their personal needs attended to, they got the right food, etc., so that they can get on and take care of their own education. I think that what we can do is link below some of our favorite curriculum that we've used over the years that I think parents might find helpful. And then also, I think you wrote an article about working yourself out of a job. recently.
Yeah, well, that's the point. As they grow older, the goal is that they do become more self-disciplined and more self-motivated, and they realize that this is my life and this is my education,
Yeah.
and I need to do it. And hopefully along the way, they discover what they want to do next. But like some children are ready to read and ready to start school at 5, and some are only ready at 7, and some are only ready to do that at 9. I've also noticed with my own children and with other people's children that on the other end, it's the same. Some of them at 16 know exactly what career path they want to follow, and some at 18 don't know, and some at 20 still don't know. And that's okay. We are all different, and everything that they do is giving them experience. And maybe they're going to learn, well, I don't like waitering, I hate working with people, or I hate coding, or I hate doing stuff sitting in front of a computer all day. I want to be outdoors in the garden, or I want to be working with animals. Or so let them do other things. I'm going off topic, I know, but the point was that children are all different, and we shouldn't think that by 18 they must all be the same.
Absolutely.
And they must all be finished with school, and they must know exactly what they're going to do next. I think we put a lot of pressure on them and on ourselves if we have that kind of approach. So at the beginning, they're all different, and at the end, they're all different.
Absolutely.
And our job is to help them, just to guide them and help them to make good choices so that whatever they're doing is building something into their lives.
Absolutely. And I think that starts off with that whole discussion around what is the best curriculum? Well, the best curriculum is the best curriculum for you. You know, we can't say X, Y, and Z is. And I think that any curriculum provider, even though we are one, we don't push our program on other people, because each family knows exactly what they need. Moms just need to grow in confidence and understanding of who they are, how they teach, what their children enjoy, how they like to learn, and muddle it out. And those first few years of establishing the best curriculum for your own home feeds into those later years when we can say, yeah, we have the confidence to tailor make our children's high school years, and give them the freedom to finish 18, 19, 20. You know, our eldest daughter only found out what she liked doing when she was 23. And whereas our youngest on the other side of the spectrum knew what he wanted to do when he was about 5, and he's worked his whole way to that. So even within the family, you've got this huge diversity, and I think that we really have the privilege as homeschool moms to tap into that and give our children the right curriculum at the right time in the right season.
You just reminded me of what Marty Duplessis always says. She says the child is the curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or no, the parent is the curriculum.
Parent
She and Leonard van Oostrom used to have this thing about, is the child the curriculum or is the parent the curriculum? Because you know your child. And I see it like railway tracks. They both run alongside each other, the parent and the child. And as you build your relationship and learn more about your child, and the child has experience of different things, and you see what they lean towards and where their talents are, so you tailor make things and you work it out. So like you said, there is no best curriculum. It's a journey of discovery.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lovely chatting to you again, Shirley, and we'll see you again for another one soon.